guys, welcome to another edition of Wrestling That Made Us. I'm your host, I'm the notorious one, I am Dom. I'm here with my boy, Dante. Dante's been a fan, he's been on the show, It Doesn't Matter podcast, and now today we're going to talk about what made him a wrestling fan. Dante, what's going on, man?
What's going on, buddy? Happy to be back.
I'm glad that you're here. So let's get right into it, man. So you chose Survivor Series 2001. This was the time when the invasion took place. It was a fun time for all wrestling fans. So I know you're a little younger. You were born in 97, right?
Yep.
So you were 4 years old when this happened?
3.5, 4, probably somewhere around there. I had no clue what this existed when I was running around then. Watching Barney at the time, probably.
So you seen Barney and you seen the invasion take place. And you remember this from like clear day?
It's been a couple of years. Probably haven't watched. Probably been. Can't even say how long. I used to watch. The only way I was able to watch this match really was YouTube-ish at the time, because obviously network wasn't a thing yet. We didn't have Peacock, most of those streaming services. So YouTube was the way to go back in the early 2000s when I got into wrestling.
That's crazy just to think that YouTube was back, or YouTube was there at this time in 2001. So wow, time flies. But so you really missed the great era of wrestling. Last week I had my man Rose on the show, and we talked about 1997 Bad Blood between the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and the Hell in a Cell match. And I said that if you're, basically if you're new to wrestling, go back to Peacock and rewatch like all Monday Night Raw, ECW, WCW Nitro from 1997 and just let it play on. So you missed a good portion of wrestling right here.
Yep, I missed a good portion of the Attitude Era.
And Shawn Michaels really wasn't in the beginning of the Attitude Era. He started it, but he missed like a good portion of the joint right there. So
yeah.
So on the screen right now we see Team WWF, which is basically the Undertaker, Kane, The Rock, and Chris Jericho. And in this match is a Survivor Series traditional tag match, so it's going to be an elimination match. And they're going against the Alliance, which is Booker T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Stone Cold turned on Team WWF. You got Kurt Angle, who turned on Team WWF. And RVD. And who's the other guy?
Shane O'Mac.
Oh, yeah, Shane McMahon. So this is the tail end of the invasion right here. We, on the It Doesn't Matter podcast, we covered this show last year, and definitely check out the archives. We talked the full invasion, how it started from WrestleMania 17, one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, to Survivor Series. This was the finale right here. So you got a treat right here for you. So here we go. We are at 1 hour and 39 minutes and 29, 30, 31, 32. And we see Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon coming out to kick it off for the Alliance right here. Man, you really missed a good time.
I did.
So I know now that you probably got Peacock and you watch wrestling. Like, what do you think about WCW and ECW at this time, from what you've seen like nowadays compared to this right here in 2001?
Yeah, well, they definitely gave the WWF back at the time, as obviously they were called back then, a run for their money. WCW just had that stacked roster of the Hogans, the Nashes, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, Bret Hart, so on. I could go on for days listening to the whole roster, but obviously you see none of these guys here in this match. I don't know if you finished watching the Who Killed WCW documentary that was on A&E or Vice.
Yep, I checked it out.
They mentioned how in the last episode they were talking about how when Vince bought out WCW, majority of those guys had the option when they started this storyline. They could either stick around, be a part of the invasion, or they could just stay home and collect a paycheck, which majority of those guys did. So, which is why we never see Hogan, Nash, Hall, all those guys. They were just home at just collecting a paycheck because they didn't want nothing a part of it. Easy paycheck, just stay home, do nothing, watch these guys go at it. And Booker T, for example, I remember this stuck out to me the most on that episode. He was the one that he was talking to Flair. He was going to be one of those guys, just stay home, take the paycheck. Flair told him, you waste your career and your prime time sitting around doing nothing. So Booker T took his advice and became one of the big guys in this fight.
Seriously. So basically anybody from WCW and ECW, they got their ass whipped in the beginning, but they have long tenures in their career. Look at RVD, who's in the ring right now. Look at Booker T. And they're both Hall of Famers right now. Booker T is a 2-time Hall of Famer. And yeah, Booker, he wasn't like the other guys. He went out and he wrestled. And RVD, I think he was already signed, I want to say. He was already signed to WWE at the time or WWF at the time when it took place. But yeah, but it's just crazy because after this whole alliance thing, then that's when you start seeing all these other guys start trickling. You see the NWO pop in at No Way Out 2002. So this is only, like 4 months after this or so, roughly. And then you see your Scott Steiners, and you see Goldberg. And yeah, it had so much potential, and it just didn't play out. They should have just waited. They rushed into it because, look, we got Team Alliance right here.
And two WWF guys.
Yeah, you got Kurt Angle, one of your top WWF guys at the time. And you got the World Heavyweight Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is the guy. They didn't know what the hell to do with him ever since he turned heel in WrestleMania 17. So it's just crazy how just everything just played out. So it was the dying days of the Alliance right here.
Yeah.
And so they had to have that star caliber talent right there. So that's why they brought Kurt and they brought Stone Cold in over there.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, you remember this probably.
Yes, I do.
So did you think there was a chance that WWF was going to lose? Or did you think that...
At first, when it first happened, when Booker T and Lance Storm and all of them did like the first strike, I was like, okay, they might give them a little run for their money. But then I seen like the talent they have. Like we look in the locker room right now, Billy Kidman, DDP, Greg Helms, Justin Credible, Raven,
Tommy Dreamer, the Dudleys.
Yeah. Like, all right, you got some like Hall of Fame talent right there, whatnot, but how come DDP's not in this match right here? DDP, he was on top of his game in WCW in 2001 when it was getting ready to end. How come he's not in this match right here? He could have replaced Shane McMahon
easily.
But no. At first, when I seen him, like, okay, maybe they bring in more of these guys. Obviously, they didn't advertise it. If they want to do like a few WWF guys to go over, then maybe. Because I would say the Big Show, when he was the Giant in WCW, had a better career in WCW, so he could have been a dominant force over that way. I would have said, I wouldn't say Stone Cold, just how the way he ended. How Eric Bischoff fired him through a fax. Oh, yeah, a fax. Yeah, he got a fax, and that's how he got fired.
Then he I forget how the order goes. He went to ECW for a bit, and then WWF.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy. So they already had Paul Heyman there. Why would they wait a little later to bring in Eric Bischoff? It'd have been like a perfect time to bring in Eric Bischoff as well, shake things up. And Bischoff came in, I want to say, either late 2002, early 2003, so it wasn't that long after this. Just like the other episode of Wrestling That Made Us with John, I said, was it the right time for The Rock and Hollywood Hogan at WrestleMania? Or would you did it at the Invasion pay-per-view itself if The Rock was there at the time?
Yeah. Because if I remember correctly, the whole storyline, because before Stone Cold turned on Team WWF, he was the guy that was leading the charge pretty much against the Alliance, and then obviously he turned heel and betrayed him, and then Kurt Angle followed suit, and then I think, was The Rock suspended at the time? I forget how that
I don't remember the storyline, but I know after WrestleMania 17, The Rock, I believe he started becoming Hollywood Rock, I want to say. I believe so, Hollywood Rock, and he started doing, was it? No, the Scorpion King wasn't out yet, so was it The Mummy Returns, maybe? I could be wrong. I didn't watch early Rock stuff when he was in the movies.
This is like my favorite era of the Undertaker right here.
American Badass right here. He was real.
One of the guys right here that got me into wrestling.
Look at Kurt. Undertaker, he no pushover.
Nope.
And he started out in WCW. Did you know that?
Yeah, I forget his name.
Mean Mark Callis.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know why I was thinking Terrorizing. That was Triple H.
Yeah, that's Triple H.
Obviously, he was injured at the time, I believe, when this took place. Because I remember, didn't he come back early 2002, the following year after this?
Who? Taker?
Triple H.
Yeah, it's crazy how Triple H missed this too. Cause I would definitely had him on this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This roster right here. So we see Kane in the ring. Kane has different trunks on. He has red and black. Usually he wears black and red. Now it's actually red and black with the tank top. So I don't remember him seeing him like that. And here comes Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, another former WCW and ECW wrestler, but he became a bigger star in WWF, WWE, I would say.
I remember back when this was taking place, him and Rock had that big rivalry, and then like Undertaker was pretty much they show in the promo, and those two are going at it. Undertaker's yelling at him. He's like, "I've been here a damn long time. I'm not ready for my career to be over."
Yeah, basically. So this is a Survivor Series traditional 5-on-5 tag match, and basically the last man standing wins. There's going to be some eliminations, and yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen this match. I know the outcome. I know how it played out, but I'm looking forward to watching this match.
A little refresher. Freaking stack roster for WWF.
WWF had everybody. You got to think about it. Like, WCW was on his dying days, and they picked up Jericho. Jericho took a beating from WWE in the beginning, or WWF in the beginning, by going one-on-one with The Rock. Then he went in against Triple H, and then they also had the Radicals, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko. They had Big Show, Paul White, picked him up in '99 from WCW, so they was getting all the big names. So after this Survivor Series, and basically this is winner take all. Either it's going to be Alliance or it's going to be WWF, and obviously we know it's going to be WWF, which is WWE. And I feel like after this they got stagnant because there was no competition. So what do? So you got to shake things up. That's how you end up with the brand split. Have competition among each other. So yeah. So all right. So we are at 1 hour and 49 minutes and 10 seconds, 11, 12, 13. And we got The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin kicking off the match right now. These guys are going back and forth, and Stone Cold just hit the Luthez press on The Rock. Gave him the bird to everybody, and just dropped the elbow. What are your thoughts on Stone Cold? Was he one of your favorites as you were growing up?
He's one of my favorites. Obviously, he was before my time, but obviously, for me, I went on YouTube a lot as a kid when I first got into wrestling. And when I wanted to watch anything Attitude Era, I had to look up YouTube. So I saw a lot of Stone Cold moments, Rock moments, when The Rock would make fun of pretty much everyone.
It's crazy. The stuff that Rock, hell, even stuff that Rock say now, you can't say because you will get canceled in a heartbeat. So The Rock just hit the Luthez press on Stone Cold, and Shane just came in and interfered. Yep. Typical Shane. Here comes Booker T. One of my favorites.
He's definitely one of my favorites, too. His commentary on NXT and Tuesday nights kills me.
He is good. Booker is the man. You know what's crazy? When this invasion happened, one of the matches I wanted to see was Battle of the People's Champ, because The Rock on the WWF USA side was calling himself the People's Champ, and everybody knows that. On the WCW side, on TNT, your People's Champ was DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, and we never got that match. They came, when DDP came in, they made him a stalker, and he was stalking the Undertaker's wife.
God, I remember that.
That was terrible. Okay, honestly, Because Paige's wife at the time was hotter than Undertaker's wife at the time. So it made no sense. He even said the same thing. But and obviously how that played out, Undertaker whipped his ass.
Yep. That
was it. So you have your top WCW guy just get squashed by one of the monsters in WWF. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. We got RVD and we got Chris Jericho in the ring. I wouldn't mind seeing them two like in the best of 7, best of 5 match or whatever.
That'd be a good match. RVD's one of my favorites from ECW.
Yeah, so I know you were a big fan of ECW. What got you into ECW?
It was a lot to do with me and my cousin watching. Well, long story short, my cousin was one of the people that got me into wrestling, and he would watch ECW every now and then, and me and him would hang out all the time when we were younger, and we would watch wrestling, play SmackDown vs. Raw back in the day. So I kind of just started following ECW along with him, and like in the comments a while back when you guys did the ECW One Night Stand video, I was at Walmart one day with my parents, and I was looking in the wrestling section where all the wrestling DVDs were, and I just happened to see Rise and Fall of ECW. So I'm like, me, probably 10, 11, 12, or somewhere around there at the time, I started watching wrestling in middle school. I was thinking it was the current ECW that
sci-fi shit,
the watered down, crappy sci-fi ECW that should have never happened. So, anyways, long story short, I bought the DVD that day. Got home from grocery shop with my parents that day. Went home, put in the DVD player. I started watching it. I'm like, this isn't ECW. I'm like, this is better. And then I remember, obviously, I was, like I said before, I started watching my cousin a little bit. And he goes, yeah, you found the real ECW. I'm like, this is 10 times better. I remember watching the whole documentary, like, talking about the whole rivalry with Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman and the Raven, the whole 9 yards with that. I remember they mentioned the whole incident with Mass Transit and New Jack. I can't believe I just forgot one of my favorite wrestlers' names right there. Holy shit. Yeah, they mentioned that and just the whole thing that went down with ECW back then.
You know, the crazy thing is that when they produced that DVD, there was no talks for ECW, but the sales were like through the roof. So that's how we got the One Night Stand show. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got the second One Night Stand show. And then Vince, let me put my little touch onto it. That's how we got that watered down ECW show on Sci-Fi with the zombie and all that stuff like that. It made no damn sense. So it was a crazy time in wrestling. Because I bought that DVD. I'll never forget. I bought that DVD. I was with Rose, Roger, and we was at Hershey, Pennsylvania. And we was in a hotel room when we just ran that DVD through the PS2 and just kept down watching it and all the bonus features and whatnot.
All the matches that came on that DVD too. There were some good ones. I think there was like the Pit Bulls. I forget who they fought in that match. There was one with the Dudleys, I believe. It's been a while since I watched that DVD.
Yeah, because I wasn't big into ECW when I seen when it was on TNN in like late '99, 2000, and it was like a complete different atmosphere, and I wasn't used to hardcore stuff. I was used to like WCW and WCW and WWF at the time, so I didn't know none of these guys. Like, all right, like who's this? Like, who's that? Like, you know, I just tuned in. Like, okay, like it wasn't really appealing to me. But then I seen RVD, like just seeing how he flowed and his rivalry with Jerry Lynn and how them dudes just wrestle. It was, you know, it wasn't a spot fest, but it was just like a pure good like wrestling match, and I enjoyed like that physicality like that.
Yeah, Paul, obviously back in the original ECW, Paul Heyman, the mastermind he was running the show back then, so they had the honestly like some of the best storylines, like with it was Raven and Sandman. When then they got Sandman's family involved, having his kid tell Sandman he's a drunk and all that, saying quote the Raven nevermore, all that stuff.
Did you see they almost had Kurt Angle?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they almost had Kurt Angle.
Then the incident happened when they crucified Sandman. And they mentioned in the DVD.
Yeah.
They mentioned he because I think he was on. He goes because he saw what happened in the ring. He goes, if my name's even brought up in this, you'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Yeah, seriously though, you got an Olympic gold medalist, and he was considering joining ECW. So the show that he was at that time, they had Sandman on like some like barbed wire 2x4s, like how Jesus was on the crucifix. Same thing, and he's like, oh, I can't do this. Now look at him working for the Lions.
Yep. And then he went there to the watered down ECW when Vince brought it back. Because I think it was one of the one night stands he was on, or it was draft or something. He was Team ECW with Big Show, I believe. I could be wrong.
All right, so we got the Undertaker working on Booker T's arm right now, and we are at 1 hour and 56 minutes, 53, 54, 55. No eliminations yet. But look at this. We got a Hall of Fame worthy class right here, or, in this ring right now.
Yeah.
Undertaker, Hall of Famer. Booker T, Hall of Famer. Shane, he will be a Hall of Famer. Big Show, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Rock, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Kane will be a Hall of Famer. RVD Hall of Famer. Kurt Angle already a Hall of Famer. Stone Cold Hall of Famer. It's crazy.
Possibly Chris Jericho if
oh yeah, Jericho. Yeah. Hell yeah, Jericho definitely be a Hall of Famer.
Recent allegations against him, I'm sure that'll probably stop him delayed the process of him getting to the Hall of Fame.
You got Hulk Hogan in there who has all his stuff going on. Hall of Famer. You got a president who almost got assassinated last week. He's in there. So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Plus, honestly, I think the WWE Hall of Fame is a joke. As much as I love watch the show and see the dudes and the ladies talk about, their career and whatnot. If you don't have a physical location or a venue that I can go visit, I don't consider you a real Hall of Fame. Yeah. And I used to go to the Hall of Fame all the time, but that's just how I feel now.
Yeah. Makes sense because obviously MLB has a Hall of Fame.
MLB has a Hall of Fame. NBA.
NFL,
you go to Canton. NBA, you go to Springfield. Like, come on now. Like, all that money y'all have, you can have one in Florida, you can have one in New York, one of the major cities, and people definitely go visit. But
yeah, it makes sense to put in New York because that's where WWF started originally back in the day.
But, it's still cool, though.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech, how, Vince, who was the right guy to induct him, come out there, and you see all of them, Undertaker's jackets right there. It was cool. It's just cool seeing Undertaker be humanized.
Yeah.
Because we never
all these years we're used to Undertaker in character the whole time. The whole rest in peace, man of very few words, and then obviously more in previous years we're seeing him act like his normal self. He's talking more. He has a podcast now.
Do you listen to that?
I haven't checked out any of his episodes.
It's good. You definitely have to listen to it. I listened to the one with him and the Godfather the other day, and the Godfather said, "Man, I fought you as every character," and look at that, because that's one of his boys down with BSK. And he showed the clip of how Godfather almost broke him in the ring, basically, make him break character. Because, after the matches and the shows and whatnot, him and BSK, they would go in the strip club. So Godfather got on the mic. He was like, "Oh, I know you love hoes." And Undertaker, he kept a straight face, but he's like, "I'm going to fuck you up." like, that's some funny shit right there. Like, he never broke character on camera. Came close a few times, but it never happened. But it's just funny. Like, this man has a 30-year career, and nobody knew, like, how he was outside the ring because he believed in his character and he worked the gimmick. Like, you see him driving down the road wearing all black and, bandana, rest in peace. That's all you see. Like,
you're honestly convinced he just went around town everywhere he went acting like that.
Seriously. He told a story about how him, Paul Bearer, and Kurt Angle with the Olympic Slam on Big Show.
Yeah, I don't know how he does. he did that to both. Well, he's body slammed Kane earlier in the match.
Hold on. Booker T with the scissors kick on the Big Show. Oh, we're about to get Spinneroonie. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Spinneroonie by Booker T. RVD, he about to get the tag from Booker. RVD's on the top rope right now. 5-star frog splash. Shane's getting the tag with the Jordan 3s on.
I noticed that a minute ago. I'm like, is he wearing Jordans?
Yep, that's all he rocked. With the flying elbow, 1, 2, 3, and the Big Show's elimination. Figures. That's terrible.
It's like I was thinking when I was trying to figure out like what match I wanted to talk about, and this match kept coming to mind. I'm just thinking of the whole like team, both teams, like how stacked they were. I was thinking to myself on paper, I'm like, shouldn't Team WWF just like steamroll their entire team almost? It's like their whole like team was stacked with The Rock, Jericho, Brothers of Destruction. And it's like the only threats that really I personally see, I could be wrong, were Booker T, Kurt Angle, and Austin.
That's it. Like, seeing this match, even back then when I watched this, like, I knew Big Show, he's going to get eliminated. Shane McMahon just getting chokeslammed by Kane right now. Kane taking a sweet time. He's looking at Taker. Gets the tag. Here comes the dead man. But yeah, back to the dead man. It was Paul Bearer, the Undertaker, and Bryan Adams' crush. They all went to a restaurant and they played a prank on the Undertaker. And the prank was, oh, hold on. Undertaker, he's going for the tombstone on Shane. Picked him up like nothing. No hands. Boom. Tombstone. Oh, he just tagged in Jericho. Jericho with the lion, not the lion tamer, the moonsault. Lion salt.
Lion salt, that's what it was.
Now Shane McMahon's eliminated. Now here comes Kurt Angle. All right, so back to the Undertaker story. So a big man like that, they played a prank on him because they know that the Undertaker, he don't like cucumbers. So he got up, he went to go use the phone. He came back, and he thought they like put mad cucumbers in his burger or something like that, but they didn't. And he's like, "Oh, okay, you only play me. I'm like, all right, whatever." So I guess he was getting ready to drink his iced tea or whatever, and then as he's lifting up the cup, all he sees the cucumbers, and he like kind of freaked out. So it's just kind of crazy just hearing like stories like that from Undertaker now. Like they played pranks, and how he got Paul Bearer back. He said one day it was him and Paul Bearer on the road. Paul Bearer said, "Pull over, I have to go pee." Undertaker is like, "Okay, I'll pull over next rest area." And he just kept on going for like another like half hour to an hour or whatever, and something like that. Next time he peed himself. He's like, "I told you I'll get you back." It's just crazy just hearing that from Undertaker.
I'm sure there's like so many more stories too
us
as fans don't know about yet.
Oh yeah, definitely. He said if he hit 100,000 subscribers at WrestleMania weekend, him and the whole BSK, which is Rikishi, Savio Vega, Henry Godwin, Phineas Godwin, and The Godfather, they will have a live show. I would love to see that in person.
Oh yeah.
No phones allowed in that arena. All right, so we got RVD and Chris Jericho in the ring right now, and these guys are going back and forth.
So do you think this match would have played out differently? Obviously, we probably would have gotten the same outcome considering WCW was bought by WWF already. But how do you think it would play differently if we had like the Hogans, the Bret Harts?
Oh my gosh!
Do you think it would have been a better match or like more nerve-wracking type of match as a fan who was watching this in the early 2000s?
So honestly, I really think that first of all, the Invasion match, which is the 5-on-5 match they had, was in July. This is November right here. So do another 5-on-5. The only thing about this is elimination match right here. But if you would have had the top WCW guys in the late 2000s, 2001 to take on the top WWF guys, that would have definitely drew a lot of money, because you would have had on Team WWF, you would have had Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane, and The Rock wasn't there at the time. Triple H wasn't there at the time. Who was the fifth guy? I don't remember who the fifth guy was, but anyway, just the names I just said alone is stacked. If you would have had a top alliance team, you could have had the NWO of Hall, Nash, and Hogan. You could have had Goldberg. You could have Booker T. Hell, if you want to keep naming off players, you could have had Scott Steiner. You could have had DDP. It was just mad heads you could have rolled with.
Man, it could have been a whole, like, almost old school WWF roster versus current roster.
Ric Flair was still, he was still decent. He lost a little bit. Kane is eliminated. RVD just hit Kane.
I just noticed, I always forgot that Christian was part of the alliance for a period of time.
It's because they had nobody. That's the reason why Christian had to. Because Edge is on the other side.
Because I forget so much because it's been so long since I watched the whole Invasion storyline. I think it was it at the Invasion pay-per-view that he turned on Edge?
No. I think it was like after. But the best match of the Invasion show was RVD and Jeff Hardy for the hardcore title. That was a good ass match. I'll tell anybody watch that match to this day, you would definitely enjoy it.
It's crazy how like two of the biggest people that were in this match are already eliminated, being Kane and Big Show.
Yeah, it's just a wild time. Like, they had nobody, but at the end of the day, this is WWF booking, Vince McMahon booking, so they had to have the star power. So
yeah, obviously, because it keeps going back to what's going on in the locker room. You notice how there's not really a lot of ECW guys really there. It's mostly all WCW guys. Obviously, it was Shane and Stephanie leading the charge against their dad, but it seemed like it was mostly just WCW-led invasion almost.
Wow, The Undertaker is eliminated. He's got Stone Cold stunned, and he just dragged Kurt Angle on top of Undertaker. That's crazy. Nobody would think Undertaker getting eliminated this early in the match. We are at 2 hours and 9 minutes and 15, 16, 17 seconds. So we have Booker T, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we have Kurt Angle, and RVD for the Alliance, and we have The Rock and Chris Jericho right now. You got all these guys here, and you would think, they outnumbered. You would think that the Alliance would win, but nothing yet. So you've seen a lot of wrestling in your lifetime now. Like, who's a few wrestlers that you enjoyed watching?
It's kind of hard to say because I have so many favorites. Obviously, I always say The Rock's my all-time favorite. Me and my cousin grew up liking The Rock. I knew who The Rock was before I even started watching wrestling. I remember seeing him in like movies and stuff.
So you've seen him in movies before he started wrestling, right?
Yes.
All right. So
and then
so you were like, oh wait, he used to wrestle, and then you probably just started watching his old matches and whatnot.
Pretty much, and then obviously I played some of the old school wrestling games. I forget. I think it was either Here Comes the Pain or Latest SmackDown. I remember picking The Rock for some odd reason because my cousin picked The Rock, and then like we would just switch off controllers and just hand the controls around to all the other different cousins. I would just continue to play as The Rock. He was one of the main reasons I started watching wrestling. the Undertaker was one of the first people I rooted for when I started watching wrestling. Obviously, from my shirt right now, I can't really see. I'm a big DX guy too, and it was mostly those four guys that really made me interested in wrestling. Obviously, 2009 when I started watching wrestling, DX wasn't who they were back in the Attitude Era. They were more tamed, obviously, because PG era. So we would get like the funny skits. Like one of those skits that stands out to me the most was
Booker T is eliminated by The Rock by the roll up.
So, anyways, like I was saying, so like for me, I got to see a lot of the DX skits. Like when they're advertising around Christmas times, they would have all the DX wearing all the DX merch.
Yep.
God, I think when I went to my first wrestling show is when Hornswoggle just joined DX.
Oh my goodness.
So got to see the Little People's Court and all of that. Well, obviously, like I said before, more tamed because the PG era.
Yeah, so that 2009, 2010 era is just like a straight blur for me. Like, it was, to me, I consider this terrible. It was just terrible at the time, and I really don't remember. Like I got back, like I took a little break, a little hiatus from wrestling, and I got back when I found out like Sheamus won the world championship. I'm like, wait, who the hell is this guy? And then that's when I like tuned back in. But it was just a crazy time at the time. So when you were a fan of Undertaker was the American Badass?
No, he was back to his dead man character.
Okay. After WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, well, for me, for me it was late 2009 when I started watching. Okay. So it was post Jeff Hardy leaving the company. That's how I remember when I started watching. CM Punk was just forming the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah, okay. So Undertaker was on SmackDown at the time.
Yes.
All right.
He was back to the dead man gimmick.
When I first seen the Undertaker, used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. Because you know how he just, walked to the ring all slow, like a menace, like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees and whatnot. And then like he'll get you in the corner and he just like choke you with the either gray or the purple gloves, and he just like flick his hair back and he just rolling his eyes back. I'm like, that's a sight to see right there. As a little kid, seeing that was crazy right there. And then like any little thing he do, like he'll move slow and then he'll just like get that snap, like he just move mad quick, like a diving clothesline, something like that. And then back in the day, like after matches, to your enhancement talents, your jobbers, he was just putting them in body bags.
He was just having a
like
field day with him, pretty much. Yeah. Not even breaking a sweat.
Seriously, so seeing that as a kid, and like whoa, hold on. I'll never forget when the Ultimate Warrior put him in the body bag, zipped it up, and he just sat up like nothing. I was like, oh my God. And like, so, just...
You probably legit thought this guy was actually not a real human being back then because how well he played the character.
Seriously. It's just funny just, being a lifelong fan and seeing how... I always wondered how, when the lights go out, like how do you just like pop into the ring? I went to a live show, and then the lights just go out, and you see somebody just sprinting in the ring next to the light go on. You just stand there like nothing. Like, oh, so that's how they do it.
Yeah, I seen.
All right.
I seen a clip from Mania this year when the Undertaker got involved in the main event and to chokeslam The Rock. Yeah. I saw a TikTok of a guy he had his phone out and Undertaker just feline right past him. Like, oh, so that's how they do it.
He told the story like, he's like, yeah, they contacted me weeks ago. They was like, do you want to be a part of Mania? He was like, yeah, just let me know. He said they ain't get to me. So he's like, I'm in the press box with my family and friends and whatnot. I'm drinking beers. Next thing you know, he said, I got a phone call. You still want to be on the show? He's like, yeah. All right, come downstairs now. So basically, he just ran all the way down there.
Stone Cold was home with Poncho.
That was it. That's it. So yeah, it's just crazy. So who's your favorites now?
So right now, WWE, I always say this person's my favorite. I have a couple, so obviously Cody being probably one of my favorites right now. I think he became one of my favorite wrestlers just in general, even before he came back to WWE. Obviously, he left, joined the Bullet Club at the time. Me and you actually ran into him at that indie show in
Northeast
Waterbury.
Wrestling, Waterbury.
He walked right behind us when we were waiting to meet Marty Jannetty. Just walked right by us, gave us a too sweet.
Yep, such a nice guy.
Yeah, I would say him. Definitely LA Knight. Trick Williams is definitely one of my favorites down in NXT right now. And Seth Rollins has pretty much slowly become one of my favorites.
All right, it's a good list. Do you follow AEW?
Yeah, I follow AEW. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Young Bucks too. Obviously, we went to the same indie show again up in Norwich when we met them and Marty Jannetty. I went through a small stage when watching wrestling a couple years ago when obviously WWE didn't have the best writing a couple years ago. I turned away from WWE for a bit and mainly just watched AEW. And then one of my friends I play PlayStation with, he's like, "Hey, WWE's starting to get good again. You might want to start checking it out." I'm like, "All right." Because at the time I was just watching the pay-per-views when you would invite me and my dad over to watch them with you guys. That was really the only WWE I was watching at the time because I was just like, all right, whatever. Their storylines there are sucking. Because I remember Lana and Rusev, that whole storyline with them and Bobby Lashley. I was like, I'm over this. So I started watching AEW at the time because it was something different to watch. I'm like, all right, WWE's going to have some competition. There's a couple of wrestlers there. I like, obviously, the Young Bucks, Kenny. Another guy I actually met at the bowling alley here not too long ago, JD Drake.
Yep, he follows the IDM Pod on
one of the
Instagram.
coolest people you ever meet. He was just down to earth. It was cool. Like, me and this guy who's a professional wrestler have the same interest, which is bowling. He was talking to me about bowling, giving me some tips. And then we would just hang out in the bar after. So now every time I see him on AEW, I always got to root for him. I try to get back into TNA a little bit. I'm still working on that.
Oh, you should. TNA's hot right now, bro. It is hot. Like, just this crossover alone, when it started with Jordan Grace showing up at the Royal Rumble, like, what the hell? Like, that wasn't the first crossover. Because Mickie James, a few years ago, when she left WWE and she went to TNA, she was the Knockouts champion. She showed up at the Royal Rumble. But that Jordan Grace just showed up, and then it just, like, gaslighted NXT and TNA because they're showing, oh, the TNA Knockouts champion showed up at NXT, and then they show her on Impact, like, oh, okay, you gotta watch this. And then after this, you see Joe Hendry. I know you heard the name. Are you familiar with him?
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Everybody believe in Joe Hendry right now. Like I said, I still haven't seen a full Joe Hendry match right now, but he is so over.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you just see like pictures of him and everyone knows who he is. It's crazy to think that this guy who's a wrestler, he just started singing his own theme song one day, top of the charts on Apple Music, Spotify's like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah, but it's crazy. He had that theme song for 5 years, so he just blew up out of nowhere.
Just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. When they was in Glasgow for Clash of the Castle and Drew McIntyre, he lost against, who was it? Against Cody? No, against was it Priest? Priest.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry paid $1,000 to have his face on the billboard, so everybody thought he was gonna show up. Like, that's how over this guy is right now.
No, it's definitely something I gotta start getting back into now that we're, like you said, we're getting all these crossovers. I was watching NXT last week or the week before, and the Rascals came out when.
Oh my God, I loved it.
When Wesley was talking, I'm like, who the hell are these guys? So I texted my friend. I'm like, Jarrell, who the hell are these guys? I'm like, who are the Rascals? And he goes, oh, they're TNA guys. They used to be in a group with, Wesley was in a group of them.
You don't remember Zachary Wentz? He was in NXT. He was MGK with Wesley. Then he got fired because he has like some shit on his like Instagram, whatever. Like he dressed like Hitler or some shit like that. But yeah, they brought him back. That's why he said MSK and then the Rascals. So that's what they are. But I'm loving it right now. Charlie Dempsey, William Regal's son, he showed up on TNA.
He showed up. Peyton, I always forget her last. Peyton, what's her name? One of the NXT wrestlers, female wrestlers. She showed up on TNA. Not Tatum or Tatum.
Tatum Paxley.
Yes.
Yeah. She had the Jordan Grace had an open challenge at Bound for Glory, and Tatum Paxley showed up. Yeah, so it got people intrigued that okay, let's see who's gonna show up.
It's definitely cool now that Triple H is in charge. We actually see WWE working with other companies, something that probably should have been done years ago. Because obviously, for the longest time, Ring of Honor worked with New Japan, and now we saw Ring of Honor is now part of AEW, so we see Ring of Honor and AEW wrestlers together, and now we're getting TNA and WWE.
A lot of people saying that WWE low-key bought TNA. I can see it happening.
I could too.
And just keep it funding.
Yeah. Just keep them up, because it seems like they were struggling for a while.
But if they did do that, I wish they would do that with WCW. You could have had your brand right there. Nobody had to know, but I'm enjoying this right now. It's good. There's a lot of wrestling on. You got Monday night, you got Raw. Tuesday, you got NXT. Wednesday, AEW. Thursday, you got TNA. Friday, you got SmackDown and AEW. Saturday, you got AEW and PLEs, and Sundays you got PLEs. It's a lot of damn wrestling right now.
One of my friends at work, he's like, dude, how many nights a week do you watch wrestling? I'm like, dude, it's almost every night I'm watching wrestling, either WWE, AEW, whoever's on TV that night. I'm usually watching it.
It's crazy. I don't have enough time. Because the reason why I say that, Chris Jericho is eliminated by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold just did some funky ass roll up, and Jericho's eliminated. So right now we have The Rock and Stone Cold in the ring, and we are at 2 hours and 23 minutes and 39, 40, 41, 42 seconds. And, you know, this rivalry right here.
Definitely one of the best rivalries right here.
Yes. Oh. Jericho with the stroke. Jeff Jarrett stroke on The Rock. I've never seen Jericho do that before. Yeah, so like I was saying, like, it's so much wrestling on right now, and look at Big Show. Big Show, you should be out there still, you big ass.
First one eliminated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was saying, it's just so much wrestling right now taking place, and especially with the podcast, with Wrestling That Made Us, and It Doesn't Matter podcast. I'm reviewing old shows, and I enjoy it. It's just a lot going on, but I'm definitely tuned in, for sure. Especially now, you know, you got Punk back and the whole storyline on him and Drew I'm looking forward to. And
Undertaker's about to rip him a new one.
Undertaker's out here. He's talking shit to Chris Jericho. Like, what the hell you doing? Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah. If you go back to this match, Jericho turned on The Rock. That's what happens. Because shortly after this is when Jericho becomes the undisputed champion.
Beating obviously The Rock.
Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. Yep.
Was that when he was starting to like team up with Stephanie after too?
Yep.
And then Triple H came back shortly after. They had a rivalry, and then said stuff about Stephanie I'm not going to say. Keep it PG.
You can let it out. It doesn't matter. Here we go.
I can only imagine what people were thinking in that crowd at the time.
Seeing this, you would think, okay, Austin gonna get the win over The Rock, but Nope. He just gave the bird to Earl Hebner. Gave him the bird again. Earl Hebner gave him the bird. Now The Rock throwing these punches in. Just tossed him
Damn,
over
he
the top
went
rope.
flying.
Hell yeah. The Rock be selling. Holding his calf. Here we go. Austin's outside with The Rock. Earl's telling him bring him back in the ring. Austin just bashes The Rock's head on the announce table. Just hit him with a chop. Another one. The Rock is selling that shit. I don't even think he's getting hit. For real, don't even look like it. He's just going with the motion. Oh, Lord.
I forgot it was JR and Paul Heyman on commentary there during this match.
There you go. These guys fighting ringside. Austin just threw The Rock into the turnbuckle. Well, the ring post. Now he's bashing his head on the stairs. He went to go throw The Rock on the announce table. The Rock reversed it, just threw him over the table.
The Rock was diving after him.
The Rock dove over the table. Now he's pummeling him right now. Here we go. This is the fight right here. This is what the fans love right here. Man, this was a good time. It's crazy. After this, The Rock's career lasted 3 more years. Then he semi-retired and came back occasionally.
Yeah,
and
every other couple of years.
Yeah. What do you think about the final boss?
God, that was amazing. 'Cause obviously, I never got to see heel Rock back in the day. I never got to see the Hollywood Rock, and that was probably closest to what I could witness to him being himself and what he used to be way back in the day. Well, back in the day during the Attitude Era. It was just a side of Rock I never really got to see, because when he was beefing with Cena, a couple of years way back, he obviously had to keep it PG. Obviously, now that we're getting a little more towards the PG-13 era again, he let out a lot more, calling everyone. I think it was when they were in Arizona. SmackDown was in Arizona earlier this year. The crackhead Karens and meth head Marys. When he said that, I lost it. I was cracking up.
The Rock used to say some stuff used to get me in trouble when I used to go to Catholic school back in the day.
I went to that same Catholic school. Yep. We never got caught doing the DX chops in the hallway,
though. Everything this man used to say, it was cool, and you say, oh, you can't say that, you're in trouble.
I still go around calling people jabronis.
There you go. Got my Rock shirt on. But yeah, man, The Rock, he's something else, man. And I'm glad that he changed the main event at WrestleMania in Philadelphia, because they definitely want to resent him a lot more. You gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah,
you had to.
I was having a hard time, who do I root for? I'm obviously I'm rooting for Cody, but same time, The Rock's been just an amazing heel this whole storyline when he came back. I remember watching the press conference when they were in Vegas earlier this year for him, and they were talking about what the match is going to be and everything, and he's just going off about him getting slapped, and he's telling Triple H to fix his shit, or I'm gonna take it in my own hands, pretty much. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, this feels like almost like a boxing match almost, when the pre-match, all the stuff they do in before a boxing match, the post, the pre-interviews and all the stuff like that. That's what it felt like almost. I'm like,
I hate that sharpshooter. The Rock got Stone Cold in the sharpshooter right now, and it looks terrible. Come on, man.
Lazy man sharpshooter.
Come on, there. I hate that. I hate Sharpshooter 3 in WWE 2K. That's terrible. Sinking in, Rock, sinking in. But no, it was a wild time. with The Rock, and yeah, it had everybody invested. Everybody, even your casual wrestling fan, was talking about The Rock and Cody Rhodes and the Roman Reigns thing. Oh my God, The Rock is back. I had people call me like, "Yo, Rock is back. Like, is he gonna go for the title?" I'm like, you gotta find out. Tune in every week, and then they would come local. Oh my God, is The Rock gonna be there? He just made a surprise appearance.
Yeah.
Over here, nah, The Rock's not showing up at Mohegan Sun. If The Rock shows up at Mohegan Sun,
I was gonna be so. I was gonna buy tickets for that.
Yeah, seriously.
I was gonna buy tickets for SmackDown, but I was like, I'm gonna wait, save my money. Now I'm like, if I'm gonna be kicking myself in the ass if I don't buy those tickets, and he didn't show up, and he did show up.
Nick Patrick, WCW, the Alliance referees came in, just clocked Earl Hebner. The Rock went for a pin. He's pissed off now, looking at Nick Patrick. You can't touch me. I'm a WCW official.
Only time we saw a referee versus referee match was during the Invasion storyline.
Oh my God, that was terrible. Everybody had a rivalry. Stone Cold with the rock bottom on The Rock. He's going for the pin. Nick Patrick counts to 2. He's pissed off now. God, Nick Patrick.
I'm surprised, honestly, with these refs, obviously trying not to be in favor of their own company. They weren't just trying to do the quick 1, 2, 3 count the whole time, but obviously storyline reasons they couldn't.
Yeah, he said it's a 3 count. I'm sorry. He just clocked Nick Patrick.
Sold that too.
Hell yeah, he did. Earl, get your ass back up.
That WWF belt right there is probably like one of my favorite versions of the WWE Championship.
The Big Eagle?
Yeah.
Oh, Austin
Earl's
goes for the
down
stunner.
again.
And then The Rock pushed him right into Earl Hebner. Here you go. The Rock getting ready for a rock bottom. Austin reverses it.
Stunner.
Stone Cold Stunner. The Rock selling like crazy.
Everyone thought it was over right here.
We are at 2 hours and 33 minutes and 8, 9, 10 seconds. The Rock, Stone Cold's going for the pin. But we got both officials down right now. Earl, get your ass up. Get your ass up.
Here comes Kurt.
Kurt Angle's back. Kurt with the belt. Bam!
Stone Cold.
Just clock Stone Cold with the belt. The Rock with a rock bottom. Kurt holding the belt. Earl Hebner 1, 2, 3. The Rock and Team WWF are your winners. Team WWF stays alive. The Alliance is dead. Stephanie McMahon, she's pissed off. Bubba Ray is pissed off right now. So basically we got a double turn. Chris Jericho turned on The Rock in WWF. Kurt Angle turned on Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Alliance. JR talking to Paul Heyman. He's like, you're done, pal.
Shit.
You done.
Out of work again.
Yep.
Steph's crying.
Somebody holding the Bye-Bye Alliance sign right in the front row. You see Team WWF in the locker room all celebrating. The Rock is posing with the most sexy belt in the world. You see right over here.
Over there.
Yeah, over there. Yep. I love that belt.
One day I'll buy a replica belt.
I want that new tag belt. The new SmackDown joint. Or the old ones. I'll take either or, but
oh, it's not those penny ones.
Yeah.
Those red and blue straps.
Jazz looked pissed off. Stephanie looks terrible. The Rock posing. And the place is going nuts. That's how you end the show. They're showing a replay of Kurt Angle. Wham! Right to Stone Cold. Rock bottom. One, 2, 3. And they show Team WWF in the locker room.
Oh crap, look at Teddy Long back there.
Hell yeah. Everybody hyped up. Look at DDP. DDP still smiling. Positively Page. Yep, The Rock is striking the pose. And here comes the man himself, Vince McMahon. Both arms up. I did it. He's happy. He's happy. That's how he was with his allegations. It's over. I'm done.
I saw a thing not too long ago about Vince, obviously, because he has to keep his distance from the company now. He had like this whole gym at WWE headquarters he can't even use now.
Yeah, I seen that. It's a crazy time. It's crazy how Vince is not involved in wrestling. I did hear that rumor has it that he might start another company, but I don't see it happening. Plus, a lot of people might not even want to work for him for everything that's going on. So it's crazy right there. But Dante, the show was over. It was a good match. You just brought me back to 2001, and I enjoyed seeing that. And what do you think about the match?
Definitely a trip down memory lane. Obviously, been years since I watched this match, but still as good as I remember it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We'll definitely do it again. You said you were a fan of some ECW, so maybe later on the road, maybe you pick a ECW match and we cover that.
Should be fun.
All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm the Notorious One. I am Dom. I'm here with my man Dante, and we will see you next time. Boom.